June 3rd, 2008. Just uncovered our garlic. We were protected against allium leaf miner. We're getting our first good look at the crop for this year. In this bed, we have a couple of varieties: Bogatar, Brown Rose, Chestnut Red, Belarus, and Asian Tempest. Last year we lost most of our garlic crop to allium leaf miner. So this year we've protected the crop with insect netting. This is roughly about 15 to 20% of the total crop planted this year. You can see the hoops that we used to get the row cover, the insect netting specifically, up off of the garlic. The leaves, garlic leaves that were pressed up against the insect netting, you can see are a little tinged. Singed is probably a better word, from the heat. We covered this garlic the first week of April. As I mentioned, today's June 3rd. It's been a cold, wet spring thus far. An emergence of allium leaf miner was a little later than normal, and we've had a cover for a bit longer. We've actually started to pick scapes out of this patch earlier this week, specifically from Brown Rose, which is in the middle of these beds. Again, the yellowing of the leaves that you see there is where the leaves were pressing up against the insect netting. Some of the smaller varieties, lower growing varieties, have none of that whatsoever, so we're comfortable knowing that it's come from the insect netting. You'll be able to see that on a row over here on the edge. In this bed we have Music, German Red, Georgian Crystal, Georgian Fire, Zemo, Red Romanian, and Italian Red. Again, here's a good example. This variety was not pressing up against the insect netting, and you don't see the tinging on the edges of the leaves, the tips of the leaves, but you do on the variety next to it, which is obviously much taller. So, first year that we've had a cover, some lessons learned. Not sure that we could really get taller hoops than what we have. I think we have to hope for a more normal spring where we're getting regular growth amounts. But all in all, pretty pleased. We elected this year, because of the allium leaf miner issue, that once we covered, we didn't uncover to do any weeding. We were keeping an eye on weed pressure. We've been fairly happy in most of the beds. We do have some random volunteer wheat plants from the straw that we brought in to mulch with, but all in all, we've been pretty happy. We do have a section of beds, which I'm about to show you, where we have some significant weed pressure that we're going to have to deal with, and we'll get in and pull by hand in the course of the coming week. But all in all, we felt the risk of weed pressure was less than uncovering and potentially introducing allium leaf miner into the crop. In this bed here, we have a number of varieties, including Sands Creek, Temptress, Phillips, Legacy, Amish, Spanish Roja, and Russian Red, just to name a few. This year in total we're growing about 42 varieties. Here you can see some of that weed pressure that I was mentioning. We'll get in and do some quick weeding and some hand pulling. The majority of the weed pressure in most of the beds is volunteer, as I had mentioned, volunteer wheat plants from the straw that we brought in. In this particular couple of beds, we're dealing with something that looks like a variety of binweed that we're just going to have to get in and remove by hand. Not that much else we could do. Again, we felt that the risk to the crop was greater related to allium leaf miner and uncovering to deal with that, as opposed to just dealing with the weeds once we were finally able to uncover. And then our last bed of garlic for this year is here. And in these beds we have Purple Glacier, which is here along the edge, Tibetan, Blanak, Persian Star, Red Grain, Murado, Vietnamese Red, Dugansky, Matici, German Extra Hardy, and Hungarian Purple, in addition to a few others. All in all, pretty happy with where the crop is at the moment. Again, this is the first look that we're getting at it since the first week of April. Again, it's June 3rd. So far, so good. A couple more weeks, we'll actually be harvesting bulbs. Make sure you get online, check out our website, hardneckgarlic.com. Get your orders in early. We sell out of a number of these varieties early each year. You don't want to miss out, whether it's for culinary grade or planting grade seed stock. Hope everybody's having a great year and that your crops are off to a great start as well. Look forward to talking to you again soon.